more strategic.
Pull out this $400
thank you for coming today, and welcome into our Valoree Farewell Collection. And after 16 years, the Valoree will be laid to rest. However, if you're not aware, many of us on the board of the Valoree have joined with a few men and other women who are now in a new organization called the Texas Truth Movement. And so we hope that if you're interested in this new organization, that you see Gabrielle, Monica's on board. Who else is here? Gary is here. Any of us would be glad to share more with you. We have a lot of fun stuff planned, so even on your tables, there's a picture of the speaker coming in January. And so if you want to take a picture of that, or we have some extra flyers at the front that you're more than welcome to get to know. So Debbie Georgatos is, she hosts a show called America Can We Talk? And she's also running for office. She's going to run for the Texas National Republican Committee woman. And so she's going to fly in from Dallas and be with us. So last month we had the Texas National Republican Committee man, Robin Armstrong. So in January we'll have a candidate. She's running for that office, and I heard she's one of the most conservative of the, I think there's two other ladies running against her. So anyway, I know that Paul Bettencourt, Senator Bettencourt, wanted to say a few words, so I told him he can speak first. So here he is. He's going to share a little bit more.
Well, I wanted to come up and say some things about Mary Ann. Before I do, I've got a couple observations. I love it. Mark Goodley looks like he's supposed to be on the golf course with that hat. And I feel very safe because we have at least two candidates for sheriff in the background. Only one candidate today. No, there we go. There was a second one somewhere. All right, so we should feel safe. And I wanted to say a few words about Mary Ann because, you know, when you work with somebody, and especially in the club, you may not know their ancient history. Okay? So, yeah, it's right. Uh-oh, there's trouble. Because actually, she knew my wife Susan before I did. This goes back to Texas A&M days when they were, give me some whoops and got me some hanging. Whoop! Well, not as many as try that again. There we go. Now we're with her. They actually graduated in different degrees, but they were in a group called the Aggie Professional Women. Back then, there were literally at A&M 3 times as many guys as gals. So it was quite the thing to be in a professional organization back then. And that group started in the living room of my wife's old home at her mother's place on the kitchen table. And they started that group and were fast friends then and have been since. Mary Ann actually went straight into, from education, into one of the hardest assignments that you could have back at HISD. She went to work at, I think, Harvard. Right, Harvard Elementary School. And this is a extremely low socioeconomic area. And so she learned quite a bit about what was really happening in education right from the get-go. She also went to, when she came out here, Penny, and she did a stint at Region 4 on the service center, and then came out here to have a family, and she was an assistant principal, right? At, I think, a middle school, I'm going from memory, another elementary school. Now, when I got elected to Senate, Sue and I were talking because Dan Patrick decided to load me up one year with a lot of proposals, and actually in 2017 I had to pass the inappropriate student-teacher relationship bill and also a tax credit scholarship bill, which was kind of a forerunner of a school choice ESA. And so I hired Mary Ann, and she was my education staffer in that year. We only had 2 special sessions, if I remember correctly, unlike the 4 we had this year, plus impeachment. Okay, thank you, Valoree, for not voting for impeachment. Where is she? I might have 23 people that had the common sense not to do that in the House, but that's another story. And one of her funniest comments was, she goes, I can't believe how long these committee hearings are, because she would have to watch them. Because back then, the education committee hearings were literally 13 hours on average. Okay, so because there was that amount of discussion, but more importantly, lots of different views on where to go. And that's really what I wanted to sum up here. You have to find people that fight. This is a year, and this is and we're in this portion of debate in the country, whether we either fight against wokeism or we get run over by it. Okay? Now, and I'm just tuning up what I'm saying. You've heard me say this on radio. Who are my radio listeners in here? Okay, you need to be more of you, okay? 700 AM from 4 to 6, okay, that's the 3 amigos. Fridays, thank you. See, she's a loyal listener. And I think it's important to understand because we've had to pass bills, stuff that I never thought when we were young Aggies, we never think that we'd have a socialist county judge in Harris County, okay? When in 1980, to tell you how conservative A&M was at that time, Ronald, there was a box, it was an election box actually, it was a polling place, it was at the Memorial Student Center. And 77% of the Aggies voted for Reagan. And then the next person up was a guy named Joe Clark. He was like an independent conservative. He got 12%. And Jimmy Carter only got 11%, okay? But we would never think now, flash forward from the 80s, that we'd be dealing with this level of socialism and wokeism in Harris County. Now, I can tell you, you have to fight, okay? Now, because this is, and I'm not saying, that let's, take to the barricades, but we're fighting politically. Because we have, had to pass a bill to get rid of DEI in our universities. We had to pass a bill to get rid of CRT in our schools. We had to pass a bill to get pornographic books out of the school system, okay? And we still have people that think they don't have them, but when they do have them, they're sitting there, and people are checking them out. Now, and listen, we've got fights on economic issues. We have fights on the constable deputy program. No offense to my constables or my deputies here. They're hired by both are hired across the county because people want to feel safe at their homes. But not Lane Hildongo. She wants to release 4,000 prisoners from the jail like that. And she would have if Valoree and 8 other state reps hadn't joined me and we intervened in the Rosenberg case. And that flipped that whole case around because they were about ready to release what would have been a crime bomb onto our streets, okay? Now, we still can't get everybody back in jail that we need to because one of the many things that didn't pass the House, and it's not Valoree's problem, she always votes right, is bond reform, because we got to 89 votes, but we couldn't get past Ann Johnson, who's a very woke leftist progressive representative down in Houston, and they stopped us from getting 2/3 vote to say that you could allow judges to have the ability to use their own discretion about whether or not to give out bond. And we had actually socialist judges down there that would give out bond for 1 capital murder conviction. They would be out on 2 capital murder bonds. We're still letting them out. We just had a judge named Carrillo who, no offense, some of the folks that don't need haircuts anymore, I won't say who. But the judge released this kid who admitted killing somebody and said, let him go get a haircut. I'm not making this stuff up. I just had Andy Kahn on for Crime Stoppers. We talked about it yesterday on radio. So with everything, whatever we do in 2024, and by the way, Valoree's going to be active, Councilor Herman, JP Godwin, all the state reps, everybody, Commissioner Ramsey, we're going to be really ramping up the campaign out here, okay? Because we're not going to let this wokeism win. And I'm hoping that we'll pull some people through down ballot, okay? I think we got a very good shot on the sheriff's race because we're up against Ed Gonzalez, who thinks that we don't have to check the legal immigration status of people in his jail. He's stopped doing 287G. And you guys better be running on that whenever you see them, okay?
We got you covered,
Good. And more importantly, we've got a good county attorney candidate. That's Jackie Smith. She can a good appellate lawyer as well as she was a judge. She can hang and beat the county attorney, who's another leftist progressive. Okay, and then the good news is out of retirement. Okay, at 5:45 on filing deadline, Commissioner Rabb decided to come back and run for tax assessor. Which, for those of you know, back then he used to call me the tax man, so I get to call him tax man too now, okay? But he's still got a lot of money in his campaign account, and he's willing to stand up to Commissioner's Court. You all seen it. He went down there and called him out about the contract deputy program, and said, and on releasing people from jail, that's the fighting spirit we need in this army to win. And that's what Mary Ann has. And a lot of you ladies in here, you have that. We're going to have to call this out, and we're going to have to fight, okay? And we're going to fight to win, because we've already broken through. It took 8 years for us to get 4 judges elected in Harris County. So we had been blue until last election, and now we've got a little tinge of purple, okay? Now, I'm going to leave you with this. If you didn't notice, Sheila Jackson Lee tried to run for mayor. And we have to credit her with thanking Sheila Jackson Lee, because we now have 3 new conservative at-large city council members in Houston. We haven't had that in 25 years. Driving Miss Sheila helped us, okay? Because it drove the vote of John Whitmer up to 65%, which is astonishing. Now, even more importantly, we have the chaplain of the Harris County Republican Party, Willie Davis. He's the first black Republican since Reconstruction to be elected to Houston City Council. Okay? There's a national movement on this area. The interesting thing is that the mayor of the Dallas switched parties. He used to be state representative. He was a Democrat. Now he switched to Republican. Oh, but wait, there's more. The first Republican mayor in Charleston, South Carolina, since 1877 got elected. Happens to be a black Republican. Okay, and I'll tell you that our Latino candidates, are great Hispanic conservatives like Julian Ramirez. He's a good guy. He has to be a Republican. He has to be Hispanic. But he's a fabulous prosecutor that ran for city council, okay? I mean, these are great people, so we're breaking through. Now I know we're up here and literally this is like an oasis, okay? All right? The only place safer is my 11 precincts in Montgomery County, which have 80% Sandinistas in them, okay? Because they're really huge. They love the Trumpster in Montgomery County. They love Bettencourt, but they love Susan better because, you know, Susan's great, but, you know, Paul was lucky to marry us. But we're going to have a fun election because we're going to be out, we're going to be talking to real people, because we really have real things to tell them. Now, last thing, who got your, you get your tax bill yet? All right? Everybody over 65, you should be astonished how low it is, okay? All right? Everybody here got a cut. Now, that's a lifetime award for me for $18 billion of taxes sent back to the folks. That's real, their money, Mark, as opposed to keep government keeping it, okay? Mark ran on that platform once, okay? And I will, you know, so I'll leave you with this. So people that know each other know that this you know, this county, this state, and what we decide that we know what America's right with, what we know Texans want, is what's right for the country. So we need to fight for it. Dan and I had been on a bus 20 years ago trying to get property tax relief. Valoree remembers the story, okay? And it's literally millions to one that we were there as the lieutenant governor and as the senator to write the bill and get it passed, that we could give all that money back to you, okay? Now, and I look at the connections all the way back with Sue and Mary and Ann and everybody else in the room, because we can go back on connections all the way back. This is the time that we use everything we've learned, all of our knowledge, every scrap of fight that we can bring, because this is the year to break this wokeism, okay? Because it's all out on the table. Everybody's seen it, and it's being reacted to in coast to coast now. People don't like it, and they want to go back to what we know as basic Texas conservatism. And I can find no other person to be happier to be with after 40 years than Mary Ann Jackson. So with that,
thank you very much, Paul. And I wanted to recognize the other special elected officials in our room. So Todd, you met Todd.
Yay, Todd!
Valoree Swanson is and she brought her beautiful aunt, Norma Jeter. And then I just want to give special recognition to the two sheriff candidates, and Lynn Cohen and Paul Day. Thank y'all for coming. I'm looking forward to learning more about each of you and what you plan to do for us here in Harris County. And we know that's a very, very important race. So anyway, without further ado, I would like the Yellow Rose current board to come up for just a second. If you could just come up here, so Wendy, Monica,
picture.
yeah. Let's see. Who else is in the room? Terry. I'm on. And come on up. Do we have everybody? We had some people that were ill, unable to be here, and Priscilla's in Oklahoma watching her daughter graduate from college. But these are the people that worked with me this year and helped us to just get through a lot of different bumps. And we stuck together, and you know, I was a new president in July, and I couldn't have asked for a better team to help us just figure out our path and what to do with some really hard decisions. And so thank you all so much for being here.
Yes, for everybody.
my notes here. My husband told me I always say the same thing each meeting, but it was very traumatic this year. So I tell that story over and over. So you can ask any of the board members what our traumatic situations were. But like most groups in the Republican Party, there's a lot of things happening, and so we just encourage you to be involved, get engaged. Each of the board members have a committee, and that they would love to hear other people's input. And if you want to just take it to a next level, let us know. We'd love to have you join us and be on the committee. And as we kind of say farewell to the Yellow Rose, I just wanted to bring up what were some of the good things, because I did have a traumatic years in the Yellow Rose. But you know, as I was talking this morning, thinking, reflecting, I wanted just to say that one of the things I loved about the Yellow Rose was that we were a very active club. We were not just interested in having our pictures taken with all these candidates or some elected politicians. We were the women that actually sweated and started walking, and we drove to Pasadena to walk for Harris County over on that side of town, and we were all over the place. I know, just trying to volunteer and put in a lot of hours. So I just really like being in an active group. So that's what we're hoping in our new organization, that we're just as active. We're not going to sit back and just rest. And I also started thinking about the friendships that when, if you're active in your church or in other organizations, you know, you develop friends with like-minded people. And I have just really discovered just some strong friendships because we have similar values. And one of the things that we're going to just continue with our new group is our conservative values, and then that definition gets twisted. And so, you know, what does it really mean to be a conservative? What are we talking about in that realm? Well, we use some strong things to keep how much on our rudder, you know, headed forward, and sticking with principles and morality and things that are important to people that have a conscience and know who we belong to. So I wanted just to think, and if you don't mind, I just want to I was thinking about my good friend Lisa Townsend, who was the president of the Yellow Rose when I got involved. And she was here at our Christmas party last year, and she passed away during the year of breast cancer. And she was just a very devoted friend, committed. She was very, she loved the Yellow Rose. And when we had her funeral, and we were starting a few months later to go through a lot of bumps and twists in this organization, I started thinking, you know, Lisa passed away, and the Yellow Rose looks like it's time to kind of put it out of the way also. And so it just happened that you know, the year has passed, and we decided to break away. We call it, Carol Zilmer's the mothership. So we're breaking away from the mothership. We are our own boss now, so our dues and everything will stay with us in our new organization. So we encourage you, if you're a man or a woman, to come and be with us and proceed on doing what Paul said. We're in for the fight, so we're here. So anyway, that's about it. I won't drag that out anymore, but I wanted to, again, just acknowledge all the board members and their support.
Take a minute since we're talking about Mary Ann, and I wanted to recognize you, Mary Ann, and all of the board. We wanted to speak to this, and I'm going to just read something I wrote because I'm not good at these things. We just want to recognize you, Mary Ann, for being an amazing leader who always leads with humility and unwavering commitment. Your organizational skills are top-notch, and your ability to bring people together for a common goal is both admirable and inspiring. So as the sun sets on Yellow Rose, the sun rises on a new venture, Texas Truth Movement, and we are so grateful for you stepping up to move us in the right direction as we continue to stand for truth, transparency, and trust. We know, Marianne is a native Texan and loves everything Texan, so.
Yeah.
It's a little shape, chocolate, shape of it, shape of Texas. Here you go.
Thank you all. Okay, well, here's your glasses. Well, your glasses. Well, this year we invited a speaker to come and help with us as we move into our new club that would help us with marketing ideas and attracting people. And so Ron Wilshire is an author. He's a local guy that lives here. I met him in another organization called Network Texas years ago when I had a small college advising business. And he's written some books, and he's not a comedian, but he reminds me of him. I always laugh when I'm around him. He has a great sense of humor. He just has a lot of good ideas. He likes to stay connected, and he has some just good strategies that I think are important for all of us. If you're in the business world or if you have other organizations you belong to, I think that he might have some things that you can pick up. So we asked him to come today just to say a few words and give us some ideas to help us to move forward for next year. So please welcome Ronald.